Are we live yet? I don't think.
No, I don't think so. She would have told us because she would have done the whole introduction screen.
Yeah.
Just a second. I'll also do a quick check here. Okay, so hi guys, welcome to Thrills LLB YouTube channel. So I think now this kind of feels I don't know, very a lot of mixed feelings because as I said, if not more, I was as anxious as you guys were about the result. So but just so first let's do the formal part. Welcome Pooja, welcome Dhwani, and let's just start off with a heartiest congratulations. I genuinely understand. I know the feeling, how it feels to make it to your dream law school. So, if you were to just say, like, describe it in one word, how does it feel? Let's start with Pooja first.
Surreal. It's one, it came sooner than expected. So it came out of nowhere and I didn't expect to do as well as I did. So I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Yes, yes, I can understand. I had to call you and tell you that the results are out. Please check.
Yeah.
Dhwani?
Yeah, it was very surprising and unexpectedly they released it very soon. So yeah, just
Dhwani also has an exam tomorrow. So I think not sure whether to celebrate or to postpone celebration, but I think that's the essential part of adulting. So before we proceed with all those, there are like a litany of questions, standard questions. Both of you are very different profiles. Both of you were with LegalEdge for like year-long courses. We've interacted a lot of times. Both of you very different profiles and very interesting profiles, very different trajectories, at very different trajectories. Just in a gist, if you could just summarize it for the audience. Anyone can go first.
Maybe Dhwani should go first because she's more relatable, I think.
no, you go ahead, please.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'm a much older candidate than most of the exam takers, I think. But to be fair, even at the exam hall, I was pleasantly surprised to see a very wide range of people, all ages and types taking the exam. So I've had about 10 years experience in investment banking. I worked in London in M&A for a while. I got bored and decided to go into academia. And then I was exploring what my next career should be. And law was something that I always liked because M&A required a lot of legal work. So I gave my hand at writing the exam and I'm really pleased that I did well.
I mean, just to add, so I think you are as relatable because, I think it sounds very cliche, but then age is just a number. And the best part about NLSAT is that it attracts individuals from all walks of life, different age groups, different professions. And currently, also the students that we are training, I was interestingly having a conversation. Is 43, working abroad with the energy sector, now wants to foray into legal. So again, like a very relatable example for a lot of people who have restricted themselves that like after a certain point in time, they cannot do a career shift, opt for a career trajectory. So I think as relatable as Dhwani would be, of course, for a different target audience. Dhwani.
Yeah, okay. So I always wanted, like, I was always inclined towards law, but I did give CLAT. I could not get into my dream NLUs, which was obviously NLSIU Bangalore. So I gave CVT at my side. So I thought, okay, if I have got into Miranda House, let's give it a shot. Let's pursue economics for a while, and then we'll decide what we have to do with law later in life. So yeah, I'm currently pursuing my from economics from Miranda House DU. It's my final year. I have my exam tomorrow, and yeah, so that is why, like, in the beginning of my third year, I decided I want to do law, and NLSIU is the best place to do that. So I enrolled with LegalEdge, started preparing for it, and yeah, that was it.
I think I remember very distinctly the first time I had a conversation with Dhwani. I think you appeared both for CLAT and ALET.
Yeah.
And it was a reference from one of our centers, Jaipur. So it was a reference from there. So I very distinctly remember. So, and something that I tell my students that if you'd missed NLS at the age of 18, try it at the age of 21. So again, very relatable for a very different target audience. But both of you have extremely inspiring stories, and both of you have done your share of hard work, Pooja, managing work, perfectly balancing it and everything, and Dhwani managing her final year of college alongside it. So congratulations, guys. I am genuinely looking forward to you guys sending me a lot of pictures from NLS. It's going to be a super, super enthralling journey. My next question, let's just first talk a little about your scores for part A and part B. And in addition to it, like, the second layer of the question would be that for you in your preparation, what was the most challenging part? Struggled with part A or part B? Let's just start with Dhwani this time first.
Okay. So I scored 50.25 in my part A and 48 in my part B. Yeah. So given that in part A, I struggled the most with part A because GK is something that I truly feel I'm afraid of it. So yeah, that's the part that I struggled with a lot. And because GK is infinite, you can't cover it all, and that's the part that scares me the most. So I tried to wrap it up. I tried to cover as much as I could, but obviously you can't anyways cover it all. And on the day of examination, I was like, ki GK though is extremely out of my scope and I can't do anything at all. So let's just believe our instincts and do whatever we can. So yeah, that's how I tackled GK in my final exam, like NLSAT.
Okay, and how did part B preparation pan out for you?
Part B preparation, I think I was like, I started off strong. In my initial mocks as well, I was scoring around 40-ish in my initial mocks, which later declined as I came near to the exam. But yeah, I did well in the examination thanks to my mentors who kept on like giving me constructive feedbacks and helping me improve. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Pooja, looking forward to hearing it from
I
you.
would agree with Dhwani. I think GK is clearly the challenge that most people would face for this exam because, but the good thing about it is I feel when you prepare for this exam, you come out a smarter person, a much more well-rounded person rather than other exams, which tend to be, quite arcane and out there kind of GK. But this is very focused and this is stuff you ought to know. So I feel I, even if I didn't get into NLSAT, I felt good coming out of it thinking, this made me more knowledgeable about the world and about the legal world than I had before getting into it. Part B, I had been doing the MBL course, which is the Masters in Business Law from NLS, which is a correspondence course. I started doing that course just to get a sense, sort of whet my appetite to see if this is something I could cope with. So I'd done my 1 year already. So I had a lot of experience, not a lot of experience, but had some amount of practice dealing with case studies and how to answer it. But, of course, it's very different writing a exam for the course versus writing an entrance exam. So, Ellie definitely helped me prepare that very, very well. But yeah, definitely GK was the hardest thing to
I think
prepare.
with NLSAT, it's because they expect you to be generally aware. You cannot really restrict yourself to 12 months of current affairs. And in addition to it, the paper this time slightly challenging, I would say, because the GK was not very mainstream, but
Yeah.
slightly, uh, weird is not really the term that I want to use, but for the lack of vocabulary. So I think not very mainstream questions, but nevertheless a good paper. And part B also, I think one surprise element was that they, instead of giving you the liberty to choose a side, that they had assigned a side to you. Okay, moving on to the next question. When do you guys started to prepare? You feel like good enough time, ideal amount of time needed for NLSAT's preparation? Pooja?
I think it really varies from person to person because it depends on it. It's like you said, even in the seminar that the faculty ran, they said the general awareness thing that cannot be inculcated in a short space of time. It's something that you are as a person and develops over time. So if you're somebody who reads the newspaper, quality newspaper like the Hindu or the Indian Express, then you're already halfway there. But I'd say in earnest, I started in about February, like late January. I had given the symbiosis exam before that. So I just needed a break and I had other commitments that I had to focus on. But yeah, so being honest, I'd say late January.
Yeah, I remember the transition from one institute to another, and then symbiosis.
My
And
exams at the time, so it
yes,
was. But I'm
yeah.
somebody who read the Hindu for most of my life. I mean, since I've been in India, at least that I read a newspaper every day. So I think a lot of that really helped. That's just. But if you're not somebody who does that, then you need to start well
I
enough.
think language and fluency, and your command over language gives you a leverage in an examination like NLSAT. So I would say suggest students to start like to have at least a good year, so that a lot of initial months could be invested in building habits and routines,
Yeah.
which essentially is missing more so specifically with this generation because of the unprecedented rise of technology. We are extremely out of touch reading. The retention span has taken a huge hit. So then it's about like a year about time is good enough to prepare for for the NLSAT exam. Dhwani?
Yeah, I agree. Like it varies from person to person. I personally started, like I enrolled with the coaching institute in August, but I also prepared for CLAT and ILIT, so that did give me a advantage, a good start. So I was already strong in CR and GK, and I was also a debater in my college, so that helped me with my Part B. So, but again, if you're not very generally aware, if you're not reading newspapers, like myself, I don't really read newspapers daily. So yeah, I started with reading newspapers per se and covering like the Hindu analysis videos, etc. from late January or January start, I'd say. उससे पहले I was just preparing for my CR and my Part B, more specifically.
I think again, a lot of assessment, self-assessment, that where you are in terms of like your command over language, comfortable, your reading stamina, your comprehension, and all of these are skills that need time and are to be built over time. So, and I think time is a big luxury that we can buy for ourselves because it takes a lot of shoulder pressure off your shoulders. Brings me to the next question that I think I remember nudging all my students, like being behind their lives to write mocks, to write all India open mocks. How was the experience? How helpful the mocks were? Because I think one miss that I see amongst all students is that they procrastinate, push mocks right to the end, and then they'll take up all mocks towards the end versus pace it accordingly so that they have enough time and they can continue to work. How was your experience with All India Open Mock? I remember, I think both of you have written All India Open Mocks in the respective centers. Your experience, mocks, the entire ecosystem. How was the journey so far?
So I would say that single best advice you gave me was to go and write it in person, because online mocks are wonderful and they really do give you a lot of basis to prepare yourself and figure out where you're strong and where you're weak. But sitting there physically writing it out and filling out the OMR things. Oh my God, if I had not done that, I would have really done badly in my exam. And that has nothing to do with knowledge, nothing to do with time management. It's just the physicality of that process, because we live in an age where most things are computer based and we never had to, most of us would have never done that circling of the OMR thing. So I think that was the single biggest advantage that I feel we took away from writing that answer, the exam in person. Other than that, like you said, per your advice and also in general, I'd been writing mocks from the beginning of my study rather than pushing it all in the end. And even if you don't know enough, and even if you're doing badly, it's okay, because at least then you know what you don't know. A lot of times we say, oh, let's prepare to the best of our abilities, and then we end up not doing enough mocks, not giving us enough time management. Because I think this is an exam that needs a lot of time management and very quick reading skills. So I think the more mocks you do, the better prepared you are for sure.
Yeah, I mean, half the competition gets eliminated time management. Yes, yes. Offline, to attempt the mock in an offline space makes a huge difference, because then that's where you realize that you essentially don't have 150 minutes, but you roughly have, say, like 130, 135 minutes, and 5, 7 minutes consumed filling the OMR, the invigilator, just the pressure. So essentially the paper is 130, 135 minutes, and then you have to allocate time to Part A and Part B. Dhwani, your experience?
I agree with Pooja on everything that she said about time management and stuff, but also physical mocks also help you to connect with your peers, because we're all preparing from home. It's online. You don't get to interact with people. How are they performing in mocks? What is the status quo of other people? So I think going out to physically appear for a mock and interact with other people also helps you build confidence, connect with people, so that they can help you out with your journey or with your preparations. So yeah, I think that also helps, and physical mocks are extremely crucial for that.
Okay. If you were to, so I think last couple of questions, and I'm primarily rushing it because I understand Dhwani has an exam. So we'll reschedule interviews so for like much detailed conversation. So last couple of questions. If you were to like summarize your journeys with Legal Edge and one thing that really stood out for you, uh, either of you can go ahead.
Honey, you want to go first since I've been talking?
Okay, sure. So yeah, I think something that LegalEdge really helped me out with, the constructive feedbacks that I got from my mentors throughout the journey, and also the fact that they are always available for you, no matter what time you want to interact with them. Or even if I remember calling Shubhi ma'am one day before my CUT exam, and I was like, "Ma'am, I'm panicking so much. I don't know how I'll perform in my exam tomorrow." And she was just there to listen me out, to just calm me down and say that, "Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to go great, and you have prepared so well." So I think for all that things, and for consoling me, for helping me throughout the journey, for guiding me, I think legal edge has played a very, very crucial role in this entire process.
Thank you so much. I'm glad we could be a part of your journey. Pooja?
So I definitely echo what she said about all of you, the whole team being available at any time. And I still remember Kajal calling me, the day before, and just talking to her helped me feel a little more relaxed and confident that, I've done the best that I can, and I've come fairly, a reasonable distance, that, at this point, there's nothing more I can do, and that I've done well for, thus far. The other thing I want to add is I actually switched from another coaching center, who I won't name, but I had such a bad experience, and I joined you guys like about 10 days or 1 week before the symbiosis exam. And even in those 10 days, I got so much support, and I feel a large part of me doing well, even in that exam, was because there was so much support and there was so much handholding. Like even today, like I didn't even know the exam results were out. I mean, Kajal called me and said, "Hey, the results are out, go check." And so it's that. And the other thing is, I feel there is a lot of practice elements. You guys really give us a lot of drills that we can do. And even the All India mocks, I think when I've taken the paper now in person, and what you did in the mock, the physicality of it was very similar. So it helped you prepare for the actual exam better. And you guys really do know what you guys are doing. So I'm very grateful that I joined you at the time I did.
Yeah, I remember my conversation with Pooja. It was, I think, almost a 35 minutes conversation discussing that, yes, you can trust us with your preparation, and we promise to not disappoint you. So I remember that the first conversation that I had, my team had transferred the call to me. So I remember the first conversation that I had. Okay, so I think second last question. How excited are you guys for NLS?
Yeah, quite excited. You're at the top
I think
institute
the session starts somewhere in July.
Yeah, I think so. 1st July is what they said in the notifications.
You'll meet you'll meet Alicians as well. You'll meet Trisha, we'll meet Pratishtha, and you guys are gonna have like a lot of fun in NLS. I'm really looking forward to your journeys. Any words for students looking forward to prepare for NLS and appearing taking the test in 2027?
I'd say read a lot, just anything at all, read. I think that's a very key aspect. Even talking to other people who've taken the exam, I think that's the one thing that really was the signifier of your success. If you're somebody who reads a lot, it can be even fiction, but just read and make that a sort of key habit. And newspapers.
Dhwani?
Yeah, adding to that, also start writing answers, like not even if not answers, start writing diary entries or so that you can frame your thoughts well, you can articulate it well. So that really helps with the exam.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you so much, Dhwani. Again, congratulations. And we'll do more rounds of interview to, have like a much clearer view of your journeys. But thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at NLS too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Say bye.